All right, guys, I'm back with episode 40 of Let's Talk. And let's talk. Now, I did say in the last episode, hopefully that was episode 39. I don't remember for the life of me. I'm just actually going to check this out so I can fix a mistake, soon enough. Yep, episode 40. Okay, so in episode 39, I didn't realize I actually got a view on it, but whatever. Why do I have two episode 39s? I think I got to delete. I think that one view is me. Half my view count is me, so I can kind of give myself credit and applaud myself. Anyways, back to reality here. So, in episode 39, I hope I didn't delete the wrong one. I hope not. I don't think I did. Don't think so. But I'll know by views. And I talked to you guys about me growing up with a disability, making friends, going through school, and I didn't get to talking finishing off that, and I said that in the next episode of Let's Talk, I was going to touch up on it, finish it, and then I'll talk to you guys after I finish that up about what I want to bring up in regards to uploading content. Which and I'm also going to answer a couple of your questions because I'm getting the questions. So I honestly don't remember where I left off. I know I left off around high school. I just want to really wrap it up quickly so I can start talking more about what I was wanting to talk about. Well, other than this, but let me just get this down. Jesus. So basically, I'm gonna be doing that a lot. Basically, throughout high school, it's gonna get so awkward because I don't remember where I left off, and I don't want to repeat myself more. I'm trying to listen to myself. I gotta mute my mic. Okay, so I just literally finished it off by talking about for the millionth time my definition of a true friend and the fact that I would do that so that I would be hoping that I would find someone that would be the same. Um, keeping it within a friendship status. Now, I did want to touch up because I don't remember again. The videos are so long that I know you guys when I get a view, it's not someone that views the whole video. There's obviously the way that I can check that, and I do. For most of my streams, I can guarantee you that 99% of my streams were only viewed portion by portion, or maybe the first few minutes of it, or okay, they're watching let's say the first 5 minutes and then they skip to 10 minutes in or this and that, and then they're never going to watch the whole way through because half an hour of watching the same thing or more or less, you know, it's not necessarily an easy thing to do. Now I do know that you guys have complained in the past about streams being a little too long. Even though ironically in the past you've also complained, as before streaming, you've complained that my screencast videos were a little too short. Especially on the Let's Game All Day, you guys were complaining how I have to. I'm always redoing episodes of the games because, especially when it's on Need for Speed World or FIFA, that is based online. I cannot save and then like you know or undo or whatever. I have to capture something that's going to capture your attention, get you watch. So within 15 minutes, I would say that's a pretty decent amount of time to work with. Now with the stream, again, the great thing is I don't have to worry about a time limit, but then I do get carried on and talk too much, which leads on to way too long of a video. Anyways, so to wrap up my life, so to say, that was a loud alley cold. My bad. Anyways, clean mouth throat. So I don't know if you guys can hear me too well. I know you guys are probably hearing the echo because of my room, small ass room. Um, yeah, don't know exactly what's gonna go on with that. You guys, I know there was one person. I'm not gonna shit you. Like I'm not shitting you, honest to God, that asked me to do a room tour. My room, I just turn the camera around and you guys see one wall to another. It's absolutely puny. Like there's really absolutely nothing in my room to do a tour on. It's like it's a decent sized room. I'm just like baffled by how small my room is too. Like I got all this furniture, I got so much shit that I can't even fit in my closet. Cause my closet is the floor of my closet is on an angle because it's right above my stairs going down to my back door, basement sort of thing. Um, so it's not flat. So putting stuff, it takes up more space with that angled floor than it does if I actually assumed it by putting my stuff there, which would have been a shitload easier if that's how I could do it. You know, I manage. You know, once a month I reorganize it. Whatever I didn't use, I throw or donate. I got literally like a box full of cords, plastic storage box or container, whatever, that is full of cords. It's like a decent, like that's seemed to be $100 worth of cords, or at least 50, easy $50 worth of cords. I got HDMI's, VGA cords, DVI, RCA plugs, auxiliary to like male to female, conversion extension cords. I got cables. I know it sounds kind of weird. I got cable extension cables. Um, I've got HDMI. I think I already said HDMI, but I'll say it again in case I didn't. I have to stress that. I don't have. Actually, I used the last HDMI that I have extra because I have absolutely no idea about this thing called patience, and I went to take my cable box out. I thought I got stuck in the cable box. The thing, the wiring on the HDMI plug was still intact, but the housing on the plug was absolutely like it came off. So I ended up having to replace it. Sorry, guys. No biggie. I have another one. I can get one for like $3, $2 for a Dollarama. That dollar store life though. Anyways, as I was saying, me growing up making friends, like I mentioned in episode 39, I wanted to have a friend that I can rely on. I wouldn't necessarily say depend on, because again, to rely on somebody and to depend on somebody, you're very similar in aspect, but when it comes down to narrowing it, because you're actually doing it, if I depend on you, it's because I can trust you. If I rely on you, it's more or less the same shit, but I don't know how to explain the difference. I can tell the difference, like mentally. I just can't explain it verbally for some reason. Don't know why. Oh my god, my arm's so damn itchy. Um, yeah. So I never really made friends. Like to be honest with you guys, in the last few days, I've started coming in contact with a former elementary friend that I hadn't seen in like since grade 7. So I'm going to be finishing off grade 12 this year, right? Um, and yeah, so it's been a good 4 or 5 years, a good amount of time, chunk there. Um, and unfortunately, he lives in a different part of Ontario. He lives in the same province, thankfully, but different city. He used to live close enough where we can both go to Von Mills, but excuse me, that was many moons ago. So unfortunately, he's actually moving on his own, which is really nice. At 18, he really wants to take advantage of this freedom thing. Once you're 18, you can move on your own. You're not legally obligated to have your parents take care of you because you're an adult. By then he should have at least a job or something. And I don't know if he has a job. I don't ask. Personally, I find that if he didn't tell him to me, it's because he doesn't want me to know, or for whatever the reason is. I really am not picky about that type of stuff. So one thing, if you're not telling me because it's something like that, so that's a little personal. But if it's something that it's not necessarily that it's not personal, but I should know if you should tell me. It's kind of like, I don't know, like if you and me, for instance, for example, because I don't know who exactly it is that's watching this, but if let's say you and me were best friends, I talked to you about this, you talked to me about that, and recently I brought up this fact that I'm going through a hard time financially. Let's just keep in mind, like, let's just say for this example that we're like in our mid 20s. Financially I'm not stable, and I'm trying really hard not to get evicted, but I have an eviction notice, and it gets hectic, yada yada yada, and then you find a way that you can help me out financially. But then I don't know exactly the example. I thought of it like 2 minutes ago, and then I just forgot. Okay, scratch that example. I just forgot it. Yeah, I just had a brain fart. Don't know why. Um, yeah. So then again, you guys have to kind of think twice, especially these days. Making friends is not the same as it was 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Not that I'm not 15 years ago, but 10 years ago I would be 8. I know I'm good with math. Thank you. But I just think about it. Being a little kid, like I look at my friend from Montreal. His little brother. He has a little brother. I think is 4 or 5, and another one who's like 8 to 10 years old. I don't remember. And he asked me, when you were my age, and makes you feel so damn old. Now I know how my mom feels when I ask her stuff about when she was my age. Jesus Christ. And he's like, when I was his age, how did I like school? Typical stuff. And when you first start school, you love school. Your parents punish you by not sending you to school. You only wish that would be the same, like coming in like 10 years later. Not happening. Um, if my mom could say, you know what, if you keep on misbehaving, you're not going to school, I'll be like the worst kid in the world. Well, obviously, I worry about my grades. I do worry about my grades, but yeah, like being that you're 18 now, you're legally able to actually sign yourself out of high school in Ontario. I don't know if that's the same in all of Canada, but you know, I'm assuming so. I know it's obviously not the same all around the world, but there's different laws. I think that's actually stupid, considering the fact that the government's not willing to pay for you to redo another year in school. In elementary, I should say. In high school, you will fail. I haven't failed yet, thankfully. I will have to do an extra semester because I only have 26 credits out of 30. But still, guys, I'm doing it. I was supposed to stay till I was 21, so I'm gonna stay until I'm like roughly like 19, like give or take a couple years, a couple of months, whatever. You know, if anything, actually, I don't even think I'll turn 19 by the time I graduate. No, it's kind of embarrassing in a way. You won't graduate with your friends, at least most of them. One of the two of them, maybe, but I don't know. You won't go to prom with someone that's practically your age. Like, I'm not going to be like 30 years old going to prom with 18, 20-year-olds, fuck. But, no, you want to have that chance too. I don't want to be the only kid or the only person that's going to be 43 years old, for instance, that just graduated high school. And, I'm going to stick out like a sore thumb. I'm going to look at one of the teachers, and then they're going to be like, sir, and I'm going to be like, no, I'm one of the students. I don't want that. But it's just making friends. I find personally having a disability is an excuse now because I've learned so many different ways to get over this thing of not being able to do certain things. So certain things, yes, it's a disability that's holding me back from the biggest odds of doing things, but there are certain things I just cannot do the same way, regardless of how I try to do them or what I do to aid myself or whatever. It's just a disability. Like, coming back into episode 39, when I was mentioning, academically in elementary when I was younger, I did not do the best. I was very, very, very rarely ever interested in actually doing something good academically, which would have later led to me not having to stay an extra semester, possibly. I would have had to definitely got used to more effort. Now, the one thing I can kind of say that was a crutch was not only the disability, but the fact that I was in a modified classroom environment of 8 to 10 to 12 kids was another thing. Because the teacher, like, especially in a bigger class, this is when I take advantage. The more kids you have in the class, the more overwhelming it is. I took advantage of that because of the fact that I knew the teacher would take longer to get to me. By the time she got around the class, she maybe would have revolved around the class, maybe two, three times. And I did the best job in the world at sitting my ass on a chair, heating it up for 60 minutes, an hour, and doing absolutely jack shit, not doing work, didn't care, didn't want to do it. It didn't interest me. The one thing I don't get now is why then was I not necessarily. It's not that I wasn't interested. I didn't interest in the school. I don't think is necessarily the way to put it. Yes, you have to have that sort of obligation to do the work. You have to want to do it, but at the same time, you also have to like what it is that you're doing. It's kind of like when you work. Work is a little more easy to take it this way. If I don't like what I'm doing, it's work. If I like what I'm doing, I don't consider it work. When I'm going to co-op at Winners, I consider it work in certain ways, but in other ways I don't. I consider it work when it comes down to the nitty gritty of actually having to doing this and that, and having to balance doing more than one thing, like multiple tasks. I'd finish this, and when I'm done that, I go to this. When I'm done that, I go to that. When I'm done this, I go to that. And having to remember where to do this, what to do, when to do, how to do, why to do that. You have to remember all these different things, which is not necessarily an overwhelming thing when you think about it. Like, in certain ways, for some people it is, but for me personally, the more I have to do, it's not necessarily that it's overwhelming. It's like, because I have to do the shoe department, right? I walked in today, and I'm not going to lie to you guys, I personally do not think that taking out your personal stress, period, within a working environment or within public, like, at all, is going to make your life easier. I don't think that I would do that just personally because I find it a little embarrassing towards myself that I now have shown others in the public that, okay, I'm stressed about this. For instance, my mom, knock on wood, the cancer comes back and she may be possibly dying. Please God, don't let that happen. But, let's say that's what I'm stressing about, for instance. Again, knock on wood, God forbid. Um, I'm stressing about it mentally, and then I pop. One of my coworkers, one of my managers, whatever, is just like they say something, and I snap, and I start yelling or I start visually showing and representing that I'm stressed. Once your coworkers and your employees see that you are stressed out personally, but as an employee, automatically they're going to say so. If they do this one time, how do we know that they don't know how to manage their stress? Are they going to get in the way of work because of their stress? And they might let me go, which is very understandable. So it's either I don't show my stress and I hold it in, which sometimes is not the best thing to do that, because you just hold it in so much that it gets super overwhelming, or you can potentially make a fool of yourself. Now, personally speaking, I would assume that, thinking of it logically, me trying to work in a professional environment, I'm fine. It's not that I'm not fine in a non-professional. It's just that I'd rather professional, because again, you get to live. I don't want to say live, but you get to work to the best potential possible. Because when you are working for a company that is a big company, or you're working for a little company, or you're working at Dollarama, for instance, not even for the franchise itself or the company, but just the one store, it's no different. As long as you keep potential within your work environment, That's what employers want. Now, what I did not realize that I was doing at the beginning of the semester, that I did not do last semester, is slow start to ease towards a more slacky attitude. Not necessarily that I was being a negative influence towards others shopping or others working. Sorry. More so that I did not want to work because, like I was mentioning about the shoes, and this is why I brought this up. When I walked into work today and I seen the shoes were all over the floor, like maybe 2 hours in, 2.5 hours in, I got so overwhelmed, and earlier that today I brought, let's say, about 3/4 of a cart, 2/3 of a cart of shoes that I had no space to put. My manager just kept insisting, Marco, if you don't got time, tell them you can't do it because you don't got enough time. Now, what I keep insisting, and this is where I kind of get really, really, really agitated. Now, this is me being immature, not dealing with my stress properly in some ways. But hopefully, you guys can understand exactly what it is that's frustrating towards me. So, brought back this carriage, sorry guys, full of these shoes I could not fit. Now, with boot, I already had the recovery in the front that I had to pick up. On top of that, I had these shoes. Or I don't remember exactly where I got the shoes, but I got these shoes, whatever. And, excuse me. So I ended up saying to them, one of the ladies, I don't remember who it is. I don't remember their name. I have a very hard time trying to remember people's names. Sometimes it's even hard to remember people's faces because I'm working with customers. Now you would think, these are people that you see the odd day that you don't see the one person, but you see the others. I don't remember who some of them are. It's just for some reason, don't know why. That's just how the cookie crumbles with me. Now today, which this is not the first time it's happened. This is why I'm aggravated. Not that this happened, but the fact that this happened again, which is not a major thing. It's not like they said something racially offensive at all. I just got aggravated and annoyed, but I'll tell you guys about that in a second and why. So, as I was mentioning earlier, like a few minutes ago, I had put all these shoes in this carriage because I could not put them away. So at Winners, there's these things called tanks, also at Marshalls, or any TJX store, even HomeSense, Marshalls, Winners, you know. And my managers had said, Marco, I understand, this is what was said at first, but if you do this, you're making the person that's going to have to pick up after you do twice the work because now they're not only going to have to take the shoes and put them back after you wasted your time doing this when you could have, wasted your time. And this is word for word. Instead of wasting your time putting them on the tank because that's what the portable rack is that you can put the shoes on, you could have wasted your time putting the shoes away on the floor. Now, keep in mind, and this is again, I sometimes I'll admit there are some cases of miscommunication between me and my employer, or sorry, me and my managers and supervisors, where it comes to the fact that I understand that they've said this, but then I interpret it as this is like a permanent thing. So if I ever run out of time, I automatically just go here and put them in the tank. That's what I understood. In a way, I kind of still understand, I interpret it as that, but I don't gear towards that. So I put this carriage in the front, and I said, I think I went to the front to ask um, if I could speak to one of the managers because of the shoes, because I knew that I couldn't leave it there, whatever. And as I was coming up, they seen the shoes, stopped me in my tracks, and the lady said, the one that works there, there's a shoe recovery, and I said yes. No, sorry. She said, what are these shoes for? And I said, there's no more space. And I said, Andrea doesn't want me to put them on the tank. And Andrea is the name of one of my supervisors, one of my managers. So the fact that there are 3 to 4 managers within my location is pretty neat. Like it's great. They're very, kind people. And I completely and utterly understand the need and importance of not being loose or so to say, gentle with your employees, because again, guys, when I'm working for management and I'm managing a company's location, like the one location that is very critical, it is we actually got an award for the best location, I think, within the region or within the province, something like that. And that's a pretty big honor, guys. It's not like every day that your store or whatever location you're working at gets an award for something like that. So obviously, the head manager, is doing something right. So I can't say that she's stupid or whatever. Okay, like I can, but it wouldn't make sense because obviously we got the award, or they got the award, not me. No, I'm not part of the league, but whatever, for a reason because of you know proper working skills and management skills. So I left the carriage there because the lady had said, "You just leave it here until today comes." Okay. Now, keep in mind again, I have to keep myself occupied. I'm not going to sit in the bump on a log or keep going back in my for taking the break and another break. I only get half an hour. So within 3 hours, if I have to take a full 30-minute break, that's wasting a full 30 minutes that I could have wasted. I mean, I don't know, doing something like really minor in the way that it seems, but major in the long run when it comes to like the store's overall reputation. Like today, I reorganized all the men's boxes from the type of that brand, and then the brand itself, and then the model and the size and all those. So, now I personally think the fact that I'm gonna get back to the friends, but I just want to wrap this part up too. Working for me again, I put those shoes there, and I just walked off, because I had to get something else to do. I go around asking, okay, you need help? Do you need help? Hi, sir, do you need help with anything? Yada yada. Do you need help with work? Do you want help in doing what you're doing? I ask them for employees and that's what I do. And generally speaking, excuse me, and generally speaking, sorry about that, guys. A long story short, because I keep getting off topic, the management there had come to me, and I knew she was a little annoyed. I'm not sure maybe it was only just me, or she was annoyed by something else as well as me, which is not the case. Whenever someone's annoyed by me, or it's just me, or me by something else too, I don't like that. Just personally, I find that to be a little bit, bad on their part, because if not bad on their part, it makes them look bad, but bad because it's not good that they have to do that. It's not good that they're stressing about you. So, you know, I knew she got a little frustrated, got a little upset because of the fact that the shoes were there. And she has multiple times told me before, I cannot leave shoes there for health and safety reasons, which is totally understandable. Now, what I try explaining, but then I'm going to bring this point up again about lack of remembering. I tried explaining that one of the employees had said just leave it there until she came. But I couldn't remember who it was, and I was in such a hurry to, help this customer as well that I had to just skedaddle off. I didn't really get half a second to look and see exactly who it was I was talking to behind the cash register. So I know it sounds kind of weird and stupid because it's like, how do you talk to someone but not know exactly who it is you're talking to? Especially within the work environment, you have to know who you're talking to, literally. And I'm getting super tired. I might continue talking about the growing that off episode 41. I'm getting super tired. And so she ended up calling another one of the employees to help me out. But she went, when I had said that at the time there wasn't a lot of space, she at first misunderstood, but I didn't obviously do anything. She's like, okay, just spaced out. And I said at the time, Now, another thing that I've had an issue with is because my voice is deep. I have a pretty low voice in general. The volume that I hear myself at is obviously not how you hear me. So when I hear myself, I can only assume that you can hear me just fine. So I hear myself. Um, I don't know. I think that's just basically it, right? Like if I'm instructed to do something and I'm talking, I can hear myself. That's how I assume you're hearing me too. Although I know that's not exactly how you don't hear me how I hear me, so it's kind of obvious. But she went after I tried to explain to her that these were from before because they'd been on me maybe 20, 30 minutes because of the space to put them. Then when she came with me, obviously there was space, you'd figure, right? Um, I don't know. Yeah. Anyways, guys, so that is basically it. I'm gonna wrap this up because I'm absolutely zonked. I gotta crash, get to bed, wake up early tomorrow, and make another day's worth of schoolwork. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for listening. I would say watch, but it's you look at my wonderful circle-shaped picture for some of these. Don't know if you guys would look at myself for like an hour. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe and comment, thumbs up, like, and share. Peace.